In one of those random moments, I bought a 1955 Studebaker Speedster with dreams of restoring it to a shiny new car. The car, one of 2,215 produced, had the wrong front clip, hadn't run in years, headliner hung from the roof, and even mice had given up on this car. In retrospect, the car probably should have gone to the crusher. As the prize was now sitting in my driveway and I could never tell my wife that the project was too big and I'd made a mistake, I could only move forward. The Speedster was a 259 cubic inch four-barrel. It was one of the fastest and classiest cars on the road in 1955. If you look closely, you will note this classic profile was copied by Camaro, introduced in 1966, as well as the Firebird, introduced in 77, and Dodge products introduced in 69. As I dove into the project, I quickly discovered that every part I touched was covered with rust and 60 years of grime. I also quickly came to appreciate how many thousands of parts comprise a modern automobile. This was one of those points of realization that the dream was a years-long project rather than one requiring weeks or months. And I didn't have thousands for a professional to do the task. Every part I touched seemed to be covered with grime and rust, and some looked beyond salvage. However, even those two window parts on the left side of this picture were recoverable. In principle, electrolysis rust removal is like chrome plating in reverse. Using a low voltage current, about 12 volts, iron oxide is moved from a negative electrode to a positive electrode through sodium carbonate, also known as washing soda. This is not the same as sodium bicarbonate, which we know as baking soda. My search for solutions to find bare metal brought me to YouTube with a number of well-done projects that proved the concept of electrolysis rust removal. This was a great base to build on. A big thank you to each of them. I saw no approach that actually used electrolysis rust removal on a major project. My task was expanding their wisdom from desktop experiments to a dependable, repeatable volume level. For example, battery chargers are fine for a demonstration, but quickly die in continuous service. And the system must be durable to last for repeated cycles. This meant creating an electrolysis rust removal system that would accommodate pieces larger than a boot and last through many iterations. Other than a plastic barrel, washing soda, and a few pieces of rebar, most of the components were already lying around my garage and likely are around yours too. And the process must fit my family budget. First, we need a power supply. You can get them from Best Buy for around $50 or from an old desktop PC like I did. A 55-gallon plastic barrel. They can usually be found at a local recycler for about $20. I managed to get mine from a printing operation that received chemicals in them. Most of the rest of the items came from Home Depot. Form tie wire is found in the construction materials area. It's used to tie rebar together for construction projects. Comes about $14 a roll. I keep some around the house all the time as a staple. Next item is 4 3/8 by 36-inch rebars. They run about $5 each, or you can buy 2 3/8 by 10 foot at about $7 and cut them yourself. This was one I had to buy, it wasn't in the house. Next, we need a piece of 30-inch 3/8 copper tubing. You could use rebar for this purpose. I simply prefer the copper because I had some, and it's a little better conductor. Washing soda. Arm & Hammer washing sodas, 55 ounce for about $5 at Home Depot. Next is a 15-foot roll of 14-2 Romex. Runs about $21 these days and is probably going up. Last on the list are alligator clips. They're found in the electrical department at Home Depot. Here's a picture of your complete parts list. It can be purchased new for about $130 plus or minus. Next step is assembly. First item on the list is we drill 4 holes spaced around the barrel to support the positive electrodes. Next step is to use form tie wire to anchor the rebar positive electrodes to the barrel. Now with a single strand of 14 gauge wire, connect all positive barrel electrodes together. Step 4, we drill holes in the barrel to support the copper parts bar. This is the negative electrodes. Now I mounted the power supply inside the garage to protect it from weather while leaving the barrel outside. Now roll all positive wires from the power supply together and wire nut them to one strand of the Romex, preferably the black wire. Next, wire nut the power supply negative to the other strand of Romex, the white wire. Finally, connect the Romex from the computer power supply to first the positive black wire to the rebar tank positive electrodes, and second, the PC negative white wire to copper negative parts bar hanger, or alternatively to an alligator clip that you can use to attach later to the bar as needed. Finally, this is the system ready to go to work. First, we fill the barrel with a solution of 1 to 2 tablespoons of washing soda per gallon of water. Next, we suspend parts using form tie wire from the copper part support bar, being careful not to touch the positive electrodes. Third, we plug in and turn on the power supply. Next step, go to bed or work for 24 hours. This is beautiful. You can almost hear the rust coming off. Now we remove the parts and power wash all the gunk away. Now you can coat the part with Rust-Oleum or other preservative if you desire. At this point, simply repeat the process with the next part and the next part and the next part. Here are just a few before and afters. Here's a picture at a midway point in taking every part to bare metal, replacing every possible bolt, and creating an adventure for all the neighbor kids whose curiosity was always there. Yes, there were a frame and other large pieces that could only be attacked by wire brush, but the thousands of smaller pieces that make up a car also saw electrolysis. And here the car is almost complete. I can only imagine the amount of work it would have taken without electrolysis to remove rust from all those tiny pieces.